Welcome to another episode on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reconditioning this vintage clock that came from my dad's shop. So growing up as a kid, I remember seeing this thing hanging on the wall. It was always glowing in the back, and it has finally died after a number of years. I have no idea how old it is, but I know it's been in there since at least the 70s. So let's see if we can recondition it and bring it back to life. So my great-grandfather started working on cars in the shop that my grandfather took over, and then my dad took over. So there's been a lot of cars in the family. And in the 60s and 70s, my grandfather and dad used to repair cars for insurance companies. And this was one of the giveaways. So Motorist Insurance Company gave him this clock, and it's a pretty cool clock once it's working. So let's take it apart. It's pretty easy to take apart. It's already partially apart. Dad had pulled the clock motor out of it, so it's just loosely together. Take a couple screws off. This side comes out, and then the back panel slides out. We have to be very careful with the face because it's very brittle old plastic, so we can take that out in a second. But if we look on the back side, the electric runs the fluorescent light in the back. I replaced the fluorescent light and it still doesn't work, so the ballast or something's bad. So I'm gonna replace this with battery operated LED lights, so it'll be more evenly backlit. And it always had a battery operated clock movement, and that can fit with the light out of it. You can reach it from in here. So that's easy to replace. But let's get the plastic face off of it first so we can see what's going on inside. So that's just 2 screws, and this bracket comes off. So move that out of the way. And judging by the blackness in here and the smoke trail that is above the ballast, I'm guessing the smoke has been let out of the transformer, and that's why it's no good. All right, so we take the plastic piece out and carefully set it off to the side. And we can see what we have left in here. So just a ballast. I think it's not a capacitor, it's probably a fuse, and then a fluorescent light. So this is all held in just with a few screws. So go ahead and take those out, pull all of this out. And I have a replacement clock battery, or a replacement clock mechanism, and some new hands. The hands have been lost, so these are just some simple square hands that'll go with the vintage look. And then we've got some LED strip lights that I can go around the inside and probably along here as well, so we can get a nice even backlighting. I'll keep all of this stuff in case it needs to be put back to original for some reason, then that can be done. All right, now we got it down to a bare shell. So all I need to do, I'll just take some degreaser and degrease all around the inside of it, and then I can stick the light in there. Now, one thing that would have been pretty nice to show, but the camera had some issues. I polished the outside of all of this aluminum. So it was really dull like this on the inside, but I hit it with the buffer and polished it up. So I wasn't too concerned about wet sanding it down and making it perfectly smooth. So the pits are still in it, and you can still see the lines from it being extruded, but it shined up really nice. And we can take a quick look over at the buffer. My little DeWalt buffer, it looks a little janky here, but where I normally have it bolted, it's over too far, and I wasn't able to get the the three sides of the frame because it was hitting the side of the table. So just have it moved over and clamped down. But it takes very little pressure, being aluminum, to actually buff it up. So I just used some of the light compound, put it on the buffing pad, and then just hit it, and it shined right up. So it looks pretty good here. Might put a little wax or something on it to keep it from corroding and dulling again. And then the plastic face, that video is also lost. I can't do anything about the yellowing in it, that's just from age, but I cleaned it up as best I could just with some Dawn dish soap, and it brightened it up pretty good. And there's one crack in the corner, so I have to be very careful with this because it's very brittle. But I think we're ready to clean it up and try to put it back together. So I guess step one, let's make sure that the LED lights actually work. Okay. We've got dimmer. It may or may not work. Got a timer, got different sequences. Oh, I don't think we want any of that shit. Nope, just steady. Okay, that works. So let's lay it out. All right, now one thing I need to check, so it looks like it runs on infrared. So I may have to have line of sight. Let's see if that's the sensor, so let's see if it will work through the plastic. Ah, okay. Looks like it's infrared, maybe it's radio frequency. Let's look in the camera and see. Yep. Yeah, you can see it flashing. Okay. So that's infrared. But it works through the plastic. So again, let's go ahead and lay it out then. I've just got the lights laying in there in kind of the right direction. I didn't want to tape them down yet, just so I can see how well this works. So let's hit the lights in the shop and then turn this on. Oh, that's pretty good. It's a nice even light. The front of the clock works really well as a diffuser. And then once the trim piece is on the side, it'll cover all of that. Yeah, that's a nice glow. Now let's see if the dimmer works. Yeah, so we can dim it. And that's as bright as it'll go. Sweet, that looks pretty cool. Quick intermission here. I've got the lights installed, and I take it back. So these LED lights have some sort of more gel-like glue on the back of them instead of just knockoff double-sided tape. The last time I bought these off of Amazon, they pretty much just fell off, but these are stuck really well. I mean, it works well. I've got the box, I've got it taped on with 3M emblem tape, so it's not going anywhere. I did have it in the middle with these convenient holes, but then I realized that's where the clock mount goes. So just move it off to the side and it's robustly attached. And it lights it really well. The tough part is when you're making a 90, so an inside 90 is okay, but when you need to go from this direction perpendicular to it, then it's a little tough to get the light to bend around. So it's not the cleanest look in there, but you can't do too tight of a bend or you'll break the light. But that's ready to go. And next thing is just to put the clock mechanism in. And here's our final product. I think it cleaned up pretty nice. Everything works, and we can do a final check here. Turn on the light. It's backlit, really nice, really even. You can see kind of there's a little bit of a shadow around the corners, but there's nothing you can do about that. That's the bracket that's running along the back. But I think it's pretty cool. Be a nice thing to hang up on the wall again. So with that, this project is done. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel to keep up with other projects going on around the garage.